Hello, and welcome to our presentation on the Enterprise Agility Maturity Matrix. What is the Enterprise Agility Maturity Matrix? Well, the Agile Maturity Matrix is part of Enterprise Agility, which is Eliason's approach to any Agile rollout. It can be used with Scrum, Kanban, XP, Enterprise Agility itself, Scaled Agile, or really any other way to roll out Agile. The Maturity Matrix is a tool, it's an Excel spreadsheet that you can use to help keep coaches, team members, and other stakeholders on the same page. It is totally customizable, and we'll tell you at the end where you can download it. The Maturity Matrix has two aspects. First, it has many indicators of agility. So things like that you'd be familiar with, like stand-ups, retrospectives, technical practices, all those sorts of things. So things that would not be surprising to you that indicate potential agility. So for instance, just because you're doing a stand-up, it doesn't mean that your organization is agile. It means you're doing a stand-up. Just because you're not doing a stand-up doesn't mean your organization is not agile. But these are typical things that you can look at that most people think, if you're doing many of these, it's likely that you're agile or on your path to that. And if you're not doing any of them, it's unlikely that you're doing Agile or are on a path to that. So let's look at the overall structure. The overall structure is 5 different states from 0 to 4 across 55 indicators. So let's look at one of them. One of them is stand-ups. It's very easy to take a look at this one. So the middle level is sustainable. That's what we encourage everybody, coaches, stakeholders, team members, to work towards to the degree that they can across as many indicators as you possibly can, right? Because the more things you have at sustainable, the easier it is to be able to work on other things at the same time. If you work on getting really good at just a few things, others that will hold you back they'll hold you back. So let's look at the different levels. First off, sustainable. So for stand-up, what does it mean to be sustainable? It means that 80% of the folks that are on that team are participating daily. The main meeting of the stand-up, and for that I mean the typical 3 questions, is 20 minutes or less. Maybe there are side conversations after that. 15 minutes, sure, that's the goal. But you know what? If it's 20 minutes or less, that's fantastic. Real impediments are being raised. The focus is on the team's stories, and the team wants to be there. There's nobody reminding them that they have to go. There's nobody forcing them to go. And they're there the whole time, and they understand it's for them, and they want to be there, right? So that's sustainable. Even if there's no Scrum Master or somebody saying, you should go, they're going. So the other part of this is, in any one of these, it's an effort to move the team or the organization forward, right? So it's like rolling a ball uphill. Until it reaches sustainable, whoever it is that's trying to move this indicator to the right is putting in constant effort, right? And you've got all kinds of things working against you. Complacency, inertia, resistance, impediments. Until you get it up to a sustainable level where it's happening, it's just the way things work around here, you have to put in that effort. And there's only so much effort you can put in across all of these different indicators, right? So you want to get something to sustainable so you can move on to something else. And what happens if you stop? It falls back. If there's no effort being put in, that's impeded. It's probably holding you back. If you're trying to do Scrum and you don't have a stand-up, it's going to hold everything else back, right? And we say sustainable. Agile is a different level, right? Sustainable means it's good, not necessarily agile. What does agile mean? Well, in this example, for a stand-up, it would mean that not only do they have everything like daily participation and people understand it's for them, but for instance, at the end of the meeting, people look at each other and they say, wait a minute, I still don't feel like we're actually going to get all this shippable by the end of the iteration. What can we do? Let's figure this out now. They understand that the goal is to have something shippable every iteration. That's Agile. Ideal, well, that varies from case to case. But what might that be with a stand-up? It might be that there is no stand-up. That sounds counterintuitive. I wouldn't suggest starting out with no stand-up. But what I mean is, for instance, if you have a fully co-located team They have a television that has all the information, or a monitor that has all the information that they need in one dashboard, who's working on what, how much work is left to go, how much work has been accomplished, and they can see that they're talking every day and that that information is impacting their behavior every day. Do they really need a stand-up? They're basically having a continuous stand-up. That's ideal. So that gives you an idea. And there are 55 of these at the team level and organizational level. Right? So beyond organizational level, at the team level, there are things like team dynamics, team structure, product, process mechanics, and engineering practices. Let me give you an example. So organizational support might be how people are compensated. If you're trying to get folks to work as a team and there's no component of compensation tied to team effort, it might happen, it might not. Team dynamics. Do people enjoy working together? Have they been working together for a while? Is morale high? Team structure. This isn't necessarily something that the team can affect by themselves, but if you're working with multiple teams and you can see that the teams that are struggling all have a size of 15 or higher, that might be an indicator that that's the problem. On the product side, things like, are stories following Invest? Is there a clear who, what, and why for every story? Are the stories small? Is there a product owner? Is he or she available on a regular basis? Process mechanics are the things you might expect, like stand-ups, the one we looked at, retrospectives, and things like that. Engineering practices are, for example, is testing being done way, way after coding is done? Or is a test plan created early? Are we doing TDD? That sort of thing. All right, so you can download this and get much more information about it. It's fairly self-explanatory. Let me give you one way that you can think about this. So here's an extreme. So somebody claims, hey, we're doing Scrum. You look closer at it, and out of all these possible things that could be indicating that they're doing Scrum or being Agile, in fact, they are in transition to having a stand-up, right? People only go because the Scrum Master says you need to be there and will bring people into the room and make sure that they're there, right? So really the translation there is developers go to a 1-hour stand-up meeting every day and it's enforced by the Scrum Master. That's not really Agile, right? So this can help make it clear to everybody where you really are. Hopefully this is not where you are. So there are many ways that you can use this tool. I encourage you to download it, take a look at it. If you're a coach, you can use it for your own notes, for keeping track of what's going on from your perspective, or maybe you share it with the team. If you're a team member, you could say, hey, this is a great way to see where we are, and in our retrospectives, talk about it. Talk about what improvements we want to follow. You can use it to understand your current state. You can use it to set Agile adoption goals. People say, we're going Agile, but what does it really mean? Does it mean we're getting better at retrospectives? Does it mean we're going to implement pair programming? What does it mean to you, your team, your organization? You can use it to track progress towards those goals. It looks like none of these indicators have moved in the last month. What's going on? You can use it at multiple levels. Organization, the overall organization, a division, a program, or you can use it at the team-by-team level. So we've talked about many different areas. One is the organization level. So at the organization level, these are some of the things that it talks about. And this just basically gives the extremes, the 0 and 4, if you will. So how is your organization structured? Is it function and project based? Or is it based on product, teams, delivery? Is funding done all or nothing? Or is it done incrementally? Do you use things like MVP, MMP, MVI? Do you have way too many projects in progress? Or do you actually try to do as few projects at the same time as possible? I don't mean fewer projects overall. You're going to get more projects done if you focus on a smaller number at any given time. So this list gives you an idea of what the maturity matrix covers at the organizational level. There are other things as well. So for instance, going Agile is a big effort. If you're not familiar with the Kotter change model, I encourage you to take a look. The Kotter change model is included in the maturity matrix, and there are areas such as, is there a guiding coalition established or not? Is there an Agile transformation vision established or not, things like that. Okay, so you might be doing Scrum, Kanban, XP, you might be doing Scaled Agile or Enterprise Agility, but at the end of the day, it's good to know where are you headed exactly, where are you today, and what's your progress. So as part of an overall change management approach, consider using Kotter, running your transformation project as an Agile project, and using the Enterprise Agility Maturity Matrix to monitor that progress and to set your goals. It's completely compatible with all popular Agile methodologies, including Scaled Agile, Enterprise Agility, Scrum, Kanban, and XP, as I mentioned. All right, where can you download it? There's the link. Basically, you go to the Eliason main web page, go to the Agile tab, then go to Agile Resources, and you'll see it there. Download it and start enjoying it today. Thanks very much for your time.